Hey guys, got here just a quick video. I wanted to clear something up. I was watching G9, who is an insanely good Elden Ring PvPer, significantly better than me. He was testing a bunch of broken stuff, and most of the stuff in this video was insanely broken. But there was one thing he was testing with Miriam's Vanishing, which is like one of 3 cool spells we actually got as pure int casters. And he was going on to say that this basically gives infinite iframes. It's as bad as old Bloodhound Step. And again, I have to ask with the utmost due respect for how good you are at this game, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Dude, it is nowhere near as bad as old Bloodhound Step. Old Bloodhound Step, it was faster than running. So for evasive maneuvers, you couldn't catch up to someone that was running away with Bloodhound Step. This is immensely slower, and the only reason it looks so strong here is because he's trying to swing into the Miriam's into the roll. So the issue here is you can use Miriam's Vanishing, and you do have iframes during it, but they take 23 frames to start up. So you have a wide amount of time to hit them before the actual spell starts. Now, that doesn't mean you have time to do it on reaction. It's a prediction from both sides. The person using Miriam's needs to predict that you're going to swing to dodge a hit, and the person that's going against the Miriam's has to predict that they're going to do that to hit them before it actually happens. So there's a prediction happening on both sides here. If you just try to swing into the iframes that linger at the end of the cast into a roll, well, of course that's not going to do anything. First of all, the person doing that is not accomplishing anything. If they just spam Miriam's into roll and Miriam's into roll, they're not doing anything. They're just wasting their FP, and at the very least, it just resets to neutral again. Nothing actually happens. But what this tool is, and why I'm defending it, is because it's an actual mind game mix-up tool that mages have now. So the mage can predict that an attack is coming, teleport in, and then cast the spell out of it. Now, depending on what the person does against it, it can go bad or good for the mage. For example, if I teleport in and use a carrion slicer, but the opponent I'm going against sees the Miriam start and immediately starts swinging an Ultra Greatsword, knowing that I'm going to swing out of it, then they're just going to beat the shit out of my trade entirely. However, let's say if I go to use Gavel instead, knowing that they're probably going to try to trade into me. Well, again, if it's an Ultra Greatsword, they interrupt my Gavel and still win the trade regardless, but that's the whole point. It's both sides have to predict what the other side is going to do. In this scenario where you Miriam's and roll, the only possible bad thing that happens is the caster of Miriam's just loses 9 FP, and then you're back in the exact same scenario. I understand the frustration if it's like an old Bloodhound Step issue, where you're trying to kill the last person, but the 2 phantoms are hitting you in the back, and the host has 5 health left, and you just need to hit him one more time, but he's spamming Bloodhound Step, and you just physically cannot hit him. That's not at all remotely what this is like. Because all you do, if they're using it defensively, is just hit them as they roll out of the Miriam's. You don't hit them out of the Miriam's, you hit them out of the roll out of the Miriam's. So you have to do a prediction that with 5 HP, they're not going to just start attacking you randomly, which they're probably not going to do, and then you just hit them with the roll catch, like you would do with any other weapon in the game. This doesn't go nearly as far as Bloodhound Step. You outrun it massively. It's not even close, so roll catching is not an issue whatsoever. The only thing that this spell actually enables in PvP, by the way, this is basically a PvP-only spell, and it has very little effect in PvE. Pretty much the only thing this enables is a slight mix-up from the mage, that a lot of times, if you have a colossal weapon, if you just swing into it, like, you just win regardless. Like, seriously, if the person I'm going against has a colossal sword, almost every option I have for an offensive Miriam's is bad for me. If I use a carrion slicer and try to hit them out of it, I still am going to get hit because I'm not in iframes because I'm not rolling out of the Miriam. So I'm going to get massively outdamaged there. If I try to do Gavel, again, Colossal Sword interrupts it now, so I will lose that trade as well. If I do nothing and just roll out of it, they waste a bit of stamina swinging. I waste a bit of FP and nothing happens. Like, it mostly just is sort of a prediction thing. There's nothing overpowered at all about it. It's not infinite iframes whatsoever, because the only thing that you can do that has a reduced delay is cast a spell out of it. If you use your time to just go neutral and just roll, no one has really accomplished anything, and you can still be caught out of the roll. So if you make the right read against the person using the Miriam's and you wait for their roll, that's a free hit for you. They wasted FP, they get hit, whatever. Even if you don't make the right read and you just try to trade into it anyway, it still ends up going in your favor a lot of the time, depending on the weapon that you're using. So this thing is not even remotely cool, or it is cool. It's not remotely overpowered. All it is just, in my opinion, cool. So I do think this was a bit of a miss of an opinion here. I respect almost every single thing that he says, because, again, he's infinitely better at PvP. But this is not overpowered. What would they even do to fix this? There's nothing to nerf about it. It's like, it's it's usable, and that's great. But if they reduced the iframes or made it so you couldn't chain cast out of it or you couldn't roll out of it, it would just be a worthless spell. And then we'd be back to having basically 1 or 2 new spells from the DLC to actually use, and that would just be terrible. So anyway, that was a small defense of Miriam's Vanishing. Yes, I am a mage sim because that's my main thing. I love doing pure casters, but it's definitely not overpowered under any circumstance. I have no idea how you could even see it as such.